Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Winnie King, and I want to invite you to my show, the Dr. Winnie King Show, every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. We're going to talk about everything that's your health and wellness on 1230 KCOH, The Source. Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Winnie King, and I want to invite you to my show, the Dr. Winnie King Show, every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. We're going to talk about everything that's your health and wellness on 1230 KCOH, The Source. Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Winnie King, and I want to invite you to my show, the Dr. Winnie King Show, every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. We're going to talk about everything that's your health and wellness on 1230 KCOH, The Source. This device allows me to take a look at the scalp and see exactly what's going on when it comes to hair follicles. And here you can see the scalp of someone who has already been scoped. And you see plenty of hair follicles, and you also see these little round dots here. See, the hair is growing out of these follicles, and then there are some that don't have hair. That's where we can go to work. We can use our products, whether it's laser, whether it's injecting some of your growth factors to try to help these follicles start growing hair once again.
I got a song I want you to hear. Boy, this thing is man, I want you to check out this.
To the show, you are listening to the Dr. Winnie King Show, and I am Dr. Winnie King, and I'm here with you today. I'm so glad that you are here with me, and we're going to talk about pretty much whatever you want to talk about. I've got a few topics that I have in mind, but I'm here for you. And so if you have a question, now's a great time to call. Call me. The number is 713-668-1230. Okay, that's 713-668-1230. We'll get your question on the air and get some answers for you. Sometimes things come up in life and you're really not quite sure, what the right thing is to do. And of course, you've got some ideas. Everybody has an opinion, but it's often way better to just talk to somebody who's in the medical profession, who knows a bit about it. I'm an ER physician by training and practiced emergency medicine for over 25 years in various cities around the country. And about 7-8 years ago, I got into primary care and aesthetics medicine. And so I offer a wide variety of things outside of practicing emergency medicine. I don't do that anymore. Now I'm in the office seeing patients. And so I'm here for you to answer any questions that you have. So let's take our first caller. We have a caller on the line. Hey, caller, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Doc?
I'm doing fine. How can I help?
Doc, this is Jaron Walls.
Well, hello there, Dr. Walls.
So here's the deal. I would like for you to talk to address this. I had a patient recently. I haven't been able to treat her because every time she comes in, her blood pressure is like 220 over 130.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. Actually, one time it was 220 over 150. Last time it's 180 over 130. And so her doctor has her on like 10 milligrams of amlodipine maybe twice a day or something like that.
Yeah.
And she told him about her blood pressure, and he told her to give it another week and add a garlic pill.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I did not make this. I'm not making this story up for entertainment purposes. This is actually going on right now.
Man, that's so scary. Okay.
So,
well, no, that's an excellent question. Yes. And something,
what the importance and what's going to happen long term with that long-term high blood pressure.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Walls.
Thank you.
Okay, now you sound like somebody else that calls it all the
Yeah.
time. Well, thank you, Dr. Walls, for that question. As many of you know, Dr. Walls is a very well-known and respected dentist here in the Houston area, and cosmetic dentist as well, and does a lot of great work. And like many people in that profession, when you go to see your dentist, matter of fact, I went to see a dentist yesterday, and one of the first things they do is take your blood pressure. And often this is where hypertension is picked up, because folks that have high blood pressure may not be going to their doctor to get their pressure measured. And so they don't realize that their pressure is elevated. And in other cases, as what Dr. Walls described, they are being seen by a physician who's not aggressively treating the hypertension. You know, there's a reason why we call high blood pressure the silent killer. It's simply because it is silent until it's really bad, i.e. you're having a stroke, having a heart attack. But all the way up to that point, you don't really have a lot of symptoms. Some people swear they'll get a headache. Some do, but some don't. You can't really rely on that. Hypertension is an elevation of the pressure of the blood in your body. And your body is designed to operate under a certain amount of pressure within the blood, the circulatory system. It's enough pressure to push the blood all throughout your body and to get it out of your body at the right time. And when the body was created by God, there was a pressure gradient, you know, what we call a systolic and a diastolic pressure. That's the first number and the second number. That is supposed to be where we at. When the pressure is high, bad things start to happen. And it can lead to a variety of health issues, including having a stroke, having a heart attack, an aneurysm, kidney disease. It just goes on and on, because the body is really not designed to operate in that range. But unfortunately, because there aren't a lot of symptoms, people kind of take it as not being all that important. But it's critically important. Most of the time, when somebody has a problem with having had a burst in their brain or in other parts of their body, you know, you can get an aneurysm literally anywhere, but the brain and the aorta, which is the big blood vessel that runs down your back, that's all related to hypertension, uncontrolled hypertension. And I know that in certain communities, hypertension is one of those conditions that's somewhat tolerated. It's like, oh yeah, my granddaddy had it, my mama had it, my cousin had it, everybody had it. It's almost like being in a club. But the truth is, it's extremely dangerous, and it is one of the things that will put you in the ground prematurely. However, it can be treated with medication. Very straightforward is important, but also diet and exercise. But there are some forms of hypertension that even when you do everything right, your pressure's still elevated. It's genetic. You inherited it. You're right. Your grandma had it. Your granddaddy had it. But you don't have to have it, because we can control that with lifestyle changes and with very good medications. And there's so many classes of drugs out there now. If one doesn't work, we go to another. And I do that often with my patients. I keep going and going and going until we find the right combination of medications that will control the blood pressure. So, you know, what Dr. Walls is bringing to the show today is extremely important. And if you have a history of hypertension, you really ought to buy a blood pressure cuff. You can get that from Amazon. You can get it from the drugstore. They're not very expensive. And measure your blood pressure and just see where you're at. Write it down and then tell your doctor. And if you don't know if you have elevated blood pressure, then go get somebody to measure it for you. It's not hard. Anybody can do it. It's very simple. But that simple act of checking your blood pressure could be all the difference between life and death. So thank you, Dr. Walls, for calling in with that question, because it's vitally important. And if you don't know what your blood pressure status is, I ask you to go and get it checked. And by the way, I do see people in my office. We have what we call a special $99 office visit where I can evaluate you, examine you, take your blood pressure, and if it's elevated, get you started on medication. Okay, so I don't want you to be without. If you don't have a doctor, or if you're just not happy with your doctor and you want to get a second opinion, come see me, okay? And my office number, by the way, to make an appointment is 936-224-7990. Again, that's 936-224-7990. And I think we've got a few callers on the line. Let's take our next caller. Hey, caller, how are you?
I'm like Dr. Wiles. I believe in getting on and getting off. Okay. Dark blotches on your face.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best over-the-counter medicine for that? And then on the bottom of my foot, from time to time, it'd be itching.
Mm-hmm.
My mom said put some vinegar on it. I'll hang up and listen. Thank you, doctor.
Okay. Well, the dark splotches on the face, we need to know a little bit more about that, because it could be that it's a hyperpigmentation from, say, acne. Some people pick little scar, pick acne on their face. And if you are of certain ethnicities, as your body heals from that, it will hyperpigment, meaning that it'll pigment too much. You'll get a dark spot on the face. We can treat that with laser therapy. We can treat it with hydroquinone. There's a variety of products out there. The best products really for that are going to be prescription and something that's done in a doctor's office. I mean, there are some things that you can buy over the counter, but the amount of skin lightener in it is very low in order for it to be available over the counter and not a prescription. But again, knowing a little bit more about what the history is. Some people have something called melasma, which is a hyperpigmentation over sections of their face, usually the mid face over their cheeks. And again, that will respond to bleaching, to laser therapy, to chemical peels. But you'd have to have somebody take a look at you and really determine the cause, because then the treatment, is based upon the causes. But there are things out there in terms of what you can buy over the counter. There are products that you can buy in the pharmacy that are called, skin lighteners, skin bleachers. But honestly, the amount that's in there is so low until you'd have to really just be incredibly vigilant. And even still, I'm not 100% sure that you would get the outcome that you would really want, because it takes a lot to get down into the dermis, to the area where what we call melanocytes are located. And melanocytes are the cells that give us pigment and give us color. And they're not sitting right on the very top of your skin. They're down deep. And so you need products that are able to go down deep in order to get to those melanocytes and shut them off. So that's the reason why I say most of the or the counter products really just don't get you there. Buddy, take a look and then go from there. Now, the other question you had about the itching on the bottom of the feet, the first thought that I have is that could be a fungal infection. And that is something that is treated with antifungal creams very easily, prescription and some over the counter, depending upon how bad it is. This is another term is athlete's foot. Sometimes people have flaking and dryness of the skin, sometimes not. But I would suggest you have somebody, take a look at it to see what's going on. In terms of vinegar, vinegar is an old wives' tale that's used for a lot of things. And it could possibly help you in the sense that it's very drying to the skin. But I would really rather see you go and use something that's designed specifically to treat that. It sounds like either a fungal infection or some type of an allergic reaction. And the best way to know would be to have a doctor take a look. Okay. Thank you so much for those 2 questions. All right, let's go to our next caller. Hey, caller, how are you?
Oh, I'm okay, Doc. I heard you speak of blood pressure. Yesterday, I forgot to take my blood pressure medicine, and I feel okay through the day. And I got to check. I check it when I get home, as I did yesterday. But during the day, I had this. I guess how would you say, this queasy feeling, like a nervous, weak feeling. And after I ate lunch, I felt better, but I didn't know what was that, because I did eat earlier that morning, and I ate in the afternoon for lunch, but I didn't take my blood pressure medicine. What you think caused that?
What is the medicine that you're taking?
I take lisinopril 20/25.
Okay.
Diuretic.
The diuretic part. So it's lisinopril with hydrochlorothiazide in it. So yeah, that's a blood pressure medicine. It's 2 of them actually, and one of them is a water pill. I don't know that missing 1 dose would necessarily make you feel queasy. It could have been a host of other things, but depending upon how what we call brittle your hypertension is, how dependent your body is on it, it could have caused your blood pressure to drop a little, or to go up actually a little bit, and that could have made you feel a little sick. But most of the time, missing a pill or so is not going to give you a lot of symptoms, because like I said, hypertension is really the silent killer. It doesn't give you a whole lot of symptoms. It sounds more like that queasiness was that you may have had a drop in your blood sugar. And so I'm glad that you ate, because it sounds like once you ate some food, you felt a little better. But yeah, I think it might have been more related to your blood sugar than the medicine. But definitely make sure that you take your medicine, and even if you have to keep a few pills in your car, just in case you take off and go to work and you're like, oh shoot, I forgot to take my medicine, you can pop one while you're driving.
Yeah, because I thought my blood pressure did drop, because when I first started taking it early on,
mm-hmm.
I kind of felt that same way,
Yes.
And but it wasn't a strong dose like it is now.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lighter dose when I first started. So.
Yeah. Well, so how are you feeling now?
I feel okay.
You feel back to normal?
Yeah, but when I checked my blood pressure when I got home,
mm-hmm.
it was like 150/96.
Oh, okay.
So it did go up.
Yes,
yeah.
So it sounds like you really need that medicine. That's
yes,
good. And how's your weight?
I guess I would be overweight. I'm like maybe 240.
Uh-huh. And how tall are you?
5'9".
Yeah.
5'9".
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could stand to lose a little bit. That'd help your blood pressure too.
Yeah.
Are you pre-diabetic?
I haven't. The last time I got checked, I was okay. I was,
okay. Okay, good. Yeah, a little weight loss would go a long way to helping you to get that blood pressure under control.
Okay, I did stop eating pork, and I try to. I don't try to eat heavy meals
mm-hmm.
like that anymore. But with my job, I drive a lot, so.
Oh, you do?
I guess I do. I try to keep my metabolism right and everything, but the moderation. But I guess I ain't losing no weight though.
Well, how much water do you drink?
A lot.
You do?
Okay. I drink about 5 bottles while I'm out here. Yeah.
Okay, you need about 8 to 10.
8 to 10 bottles a day.
Yeah, I drink, the better control you'll have over your blood pressure. You'd be amazed how it helps the blood pressure. And also, it's really good for weight loss too, because it fills you up, makes you feel full. You don't eat as much. And I know that if you're driving, you're on the road, it's sometimes hard to modulate how you eat, because you're on the road. Yeah. So, that's where you might need to get a little creative with bringing, something that you can eat while you're driving, or, something when you pull over to eat, like a sandwich, or make yourself a salad, something like that. But I'll tell you, there's a couple of movies. Do you have access to Netflix?
Oh, yeah.
You do?
Yes, I do.
There's a couple of movies I want you to watch on Netflix. Okay. Are you driving now, or can you write something down?
I can. You just tell me the name. I got it on my phone, so
okay.
I can type it in.
All right. The first one is called The Game Changers. The Game Changers. Yeah. Search that. That's the first one, and the other one is What the Health. HEALTH. Not what the hell. What the health. Okay. Those will give you some really good stories and some good anecdotal approaches to getting healthier, controlling your blood pressure, your weight. You'll find them very interesting. It's really enlightening. It kind of changes you when you watch those movies.
Okay, I will. Game Changers and What the Health.
What the hell? Yeah. And I think when you type in the search engine on Netflix, you have to put The Game Changers or it doesn't come up.
Was that THA?
Yeah. No, THE. The Game Changers.
Oh, the game.
Yeah.
Oh, you say it different though. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. The Game Changers. Okay. Check them out.
Okay. I will.
Yeah. And call me back sometime and let me know what you think. Okay.
All right. I'll do that.
All right. And you be careful on the road. Okay.
Hey, thank you.
All right. God bless you. Thank you for calling. All right. Let's take our next caller. Hey, caller, how are you?
Dr. King.
Yes.
I know you're not Sherlock Holmes, but and I don't want to be a stick in the mud. But get what though? So what really called blood pressure? I know you said genetic, and diet, exercise, and all that. But I mean, what really caused it? I'm talking. And then the brother just said, "I don't eat pork no more." I mean, what's the deal, man? I mean, is pork? What is the problem with pork and blood pressure?
Yeah, that's a good question. I actually almost addressed that with him. I'm glad you brought it up. There really isn't anything in particular that's wrong with pork per se. I mean, pork does tend to be higher in salt. Particularly, the types of preparations of pork that you choose. And so you have to be, if you are salt sensitive, then eating any food that's high in pork is going to potentially raise your blood pressure. And then there's some people that have religious reasons, behind it, or some people think that it's an unclean animal and, all this, so there's a variety of reasons why people will often stay away from pork. In general, the meat itself is not bad. From a dietary standpoint, we just really want you to eat food that's low in fat and low in carbohydrates. And so a lot of people eat chicken, but if you watch that movie, What the Health, you're going to feel a little bit differently about chicken. And so, I mean, it's amazing. The chicken industry is not what people think it is. And so, I don't know that there's anything that's worse than another. I tend to, I'll eat pork on occasion, but I do eat a lot of seafood. And I find that that's a good alternative for me. But I prefer to only eat seafood that is wild caught, meaning that it was caught out in the ocean. It wasn't farmed, in a fishery. Those what we call farmed raised products tend to be higher in toxins because they're really kind of swimming around in their own poop, and so I don't love that. But what you're going to see if you watch these movies is that really you don't really need meat the way people think you do. We've just been raised on meat, and so we eat it because we're used to it. It feels normal. But in terms of the nutritional value, you get plenty of protein with plants. As a matter of fact, animals have to eat plants in order to make muscle that you then turn around and slaughter them and eat. So, the plant is really where the source is for all of that. So you don't necessarily have to eat meat in order to get protein. Now, there are some B vitamins that are in animal protein that are not in plant protein, and that's easily addressed with just taking a B complex supplement. So you can very easily be healthy and do well eating what's called a vegan diet. Although, those are fighting words here in Houston because everybody's about that beef. And I understand it, but it's not required.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Doc.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Those are some great questions because I know that people love their meat. Everybody loves it. It's delicious and nutritious, but there are some alternatives. Okay, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, I'm going to talk with you about something that you may have heard of before. It's called ozone therapy. We'll be back. Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Winnie King, and I want to invite you to my show, the Dr. Winnie King Show, every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. We're going to talk about everything that's your health and wellness on 1230 KCOH, The Source. Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Winnie King, and I want to invite you to my show, the Dr. Winnie King Show, every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. We're going to talk about everything that's your health and wellness on 1230 KCOH, The Source. This device allows me to take a look at the scalp and see exactly what's going on when it comes to hair follicles. And here you can see the scalp of someone who has already been scoped. And you see plenty of hair follicles, and you also see these little round dots here. See, the hair is growing out of these follicles, and then there are some that don't have hair. That's where we can go to work. We can use our products, whether it's laser, whether it's injecting some of your growth factors to try to help these follicles start growing hair once again. This device allows me to take a look at the scalp and see exactly what's going on when it comes to hair follicles. And here you can see the scalp of someone who has already been scoped. And you see plenty of hair follicles, and you also see these little round dots here. See, the hair is growing out of these follicles, and then there are some that don't have hair. That's where we can go to work. We can use our products, whether it's laser, whether it's injecting some of your growth factors to try to help these follicles start growing hair once again. Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Winnie King, and I want to invite you to my show, the Dr. Winnie King Show, every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. We're going to talk about everything that's your health and wellness on 1230 KCOH, The Source. Be life-changing for you. You've probably heard the word ozone before. You know, it's up in the sky, right? Up there, ozone. Well, that's true. Ozone is a form of oxygen. It's what we call O3. Now, oxygen as we know it is O2. That means there's two oxygen molecules that are attached to each other. On some occasions, those oxygen molecules can split apart and then come together as O3 or ozone. Now that happens naturally in the presence of a thunderstorm where there's lightning and thundering, and it causes those oxygen molecules to break apart and then come back together again. And sometimes they come back as couplets, as twos, and sometimes they come back. That ozone, those O3s, have incredible healing properties. And if you are able to harness that O3 and put it in the body, it does amazing, amazing, amazing things. So I learned about this probably about 7 years ago, and I've been offering this treatment to my patients ever since. And it is absolutely life-changing. The last 2 days I've done ozone therapy on patients in my practice, and the results are off the chain. Now, what does ozone do? It gets in the body and it causes the body to make energy on a cellular level so that it's able to do the things that it's not able to do. Ozone can kill practically any infectious organism known to mankind, whether it's virus, bacterial, parasite, it doesn't matter. Ozone kills all of it. in terms of people who have immune problems, like they've got arthritis, really bad arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, where you've got pain, ozone therapy helps take that pain away. Now, the way it does it is it helps your body heal itself. It's totally natural. It's completely safe. There's no side effects other than that you get better. And the benefits are just absolutely amazing. I'm always just in awe when I do these treatments on people and I see them look at me and say, oh my God, you don't understand, doctor, what kind of pain I was in. You don't understand. And I'm like, I probably don't, but I do understand what this ozone therapy can do. This is an amazing treatment. You don't hear a lot about it because it's considered an alternative type medicine. And so you're not going to hear it from a lot of conventional doctors. It's not something that's covered by insurance, although it's not overly expensive, but it's something that can absolutely change your life, whether it's arthritis, whether it's lupus, multiple sclerosis. I mean, I can't even think of a condition that doesn't benefit from ozone therapy. All right, let's go to our phone lines. Let's take our next caller. Hey, caller, how are you?
Yes, Dr. King.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Dr. King. How much does your O3 ozone therapy cost?
It costs $300.
And lastly, how long will this last?
It depends on what we're treating it for. What kind of condition are you struggling with?
I have sciatica.
Oh, sciatica. Oh, yeah. Okay. When a person has sciatica, it's because there's a problem higher up. Herniated disc, osteoarthritis, spinal stenosis. And when I do this procedure on those folks, they generally get relief for about 6 to 8 weeks.
I fell off a bicycle.
Oh, you did?
About 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And the doctor wanted to give me, what is that? I forgot the name of this. I forgot the name.
Was it surgery or was it steroid?
No, steroid.
You want to give you steroid shots? Yeah.
And I neglected. I told him I didn't want to do that. But right now, it seems like my condition is getting worse. Like I'm always stiff. Mm-hmm. I sit down, I be stiff. When I stand up in one position for 1 or 2 minutes, and I make my first step, it's like I'm in concrete.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I understand. Yeah, ozone therapy could be very, very helpful for you. And there's also something else I do in my office called magnetic laser therapy. And this also is incredible in how it relieves pain. Totally safe, no side effects. And I think those treatments are like $60. It's not bad at all. And I often will do both on people and they get out of there and they're skipping. They can't believe it. They're like, oh my gosh, doctor, how is this possible? All these treatments, I've been every doctor in the world, chiropractors, acupuncturists, neurosurgeons, and nobody can help me. And in an hour with you giving me this ozone, I don't have any pain. I hear it all the time. And, the thing that's really amazing about ozone therapy is that it has no side effects. When you take conventional medicine, even steroids, there's side effects. There are things that you have to be aware of that can happen as a result of using those medications. But this is just simply super oxygen. God made this. And when you put this in the body, it does exactly what needs to be done. If you have something that is causing you pain, an inflammatory process, it will go and it will tamp down that inflammation so that your pain is resolved. And when you get these on a regular basis, every month or so, you're pretty much, in good shape. And so I love doing these on folks. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, one last question. Mm-hmm. Will my insurance pay for that?
No, unfortunately, like I said, they won't because it's considered complementary medicine. This is not conventional medicine because it's just simply super oxygen being put in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you, doctor.
You're quite welcome. I love doing ozone therapy. And unfortunately, the kinds of things that often really work, not covered by insurance, But if you want to have a surgery on your back and have a neurosurgeon, do a surgical procedure, they'll pay for that, or the steroid shots, they'll pay for that too. And, steroids are not, I'm not trying to disparage the use of steroids. There are times when I use steroids on my patients, people having an asthma attack or an allergic reaction. But when it comes to joint pain, steroids are an anti-inflammatory product that is designed to try to get the swelling, the inflammation out. But long-term, steroids have some very serious potential side effects. And I don't love them because it's kind of a temporizing thing. It just makes you feel better for a minute, but then that pain comes roaring right on back. So if you would like to learn more about ozone therapy, please call my office, set up an appointment. We can talk to you about it. That number is 936-224-7990. 936-224-7990. Now, of course, we can't have a show without talking about erectile dysfunction, because that's just what we do here on this show. And if you have any questions about that, you should absolutely call me. Now's a great time. The number to call here on the show today is 713-668-1230. Again, that's 713-668-1230. And I've had the honor of helping quite a number of men who've been struggling with erectile dysfunction or ED. And that workup starts out with lab testing, because we need to know what your testosterone level is. We need to know what your prostate specific antigen level is, your PSA. And that's the marker for prostate cancer. And then we need to know several other blood chemistries that's part of the routine workup. If your testosterone level is low, and by that I mean under 300, then you would more than likely benefit from hormone replacement. And what we do is use a natural testosterone supplement. We put this under the skin on your backside. Doesn't hurt. Takes all of about 10 minutes to do. Once we know what your level is, then we know how much to give you so that we can get your levels up to where we want them to be. We shoot for somewhere between 1,200, around 1,200, 1,000 to 1,200. So you can see that's about 3 times what somebody with a testosterone level under 300 would have. And they will feel the benefits. They'll feel the difference. You sleep better, better energy, your sex drive goes up, better memory, calmness. It really, really does help. And we do this for women as well. But when we're talking about ED or erectile dysfunction, that's one of the things that we definitely want to look at, is whether or not your testosterone level is where it should be. Because if it's not, then anything else that we do is not going to really work that well. We've got to get that hormone up. And we use bioidentical hormone pellets. Okay, they're about the size of a grain of rice. And we give you the pellets according to what your needs are. Some guys need 5, some guys need 20. It just depends on where you're starting. And so we will give you what you need. And for men, this will last them up to 6 months. So once you come into the office, you get the pellets put in, then you literally are good for 6 months. After that, you're going to feel it, because when those hormones start to wear off, you're going to feel the difference. That's usually when guys are really ready to come back in, because they're like, doc, I don't feel so good. Something's wrong. And it's like, I know that testosterone level is starting to drop. Now, this is different than the testosterone shots. Okay, and I know you guys have all heard of those testosterone shots. That is a synthetic testosterone. And you have to give yourself those shots on a regular basis, like every couple of weeks, every week, you have to give yourself the shot. So what happens is that you feel good for a little bit of time, and then it wears off. Then you got to give yourself another shot, and then it ramps back up, and you feel good for a few days, and then it goes back down. When you get the hormone pellets, they last you for 6 months. So you don't have to do anything. You don't have to give yourself a shot at all. I'm going to do all the work. And then you just enjoy the benefits of having your testosterone level raised. Now, the hormone pellets, as I said, are bioidentical. And so that means that they look just like the hormones that your testicles made when you were a younger guy. Okay, there's no difference. And so your body is going to respond to that increase in testosterone to a way that it would have when you were younger. And so, talking about getting your groove back, this is one of the best ways to do it. And we start out with blood work. If you have insurance, then we will bill your insurance for your lab testing. The hormones, unfortunately, are not covered by insurance. They just don't pay for it. Again, it's something that's considered cosmetic beauty, even though I disagree with that, but they don't pay for that. And the cost for the hormone pellets is about a little over $120 a month, but it all depends on what your levels are. The lower your testosterone level, the more pellets you're going to need to get up to the therapeutic range. And so it makes sense that the cost is going to vary depending upon that. But you can't put a price tag on just how amazing you're going to feel. And this is something that you pay for up front. You're looking at somewhere about $725 to $775. But we're looking at this to last you for 6 months. Each month they'd put $100 down in their little bank until they got up to the amount that they needed. You don't have to do it all today, and you can kind of almost do like a layaway plan in my practice so that you are able to save the money that you need. And that way you're able to get the pellets. And then once you get the pellets, then you can start putting that money away each month again, so that when the 6 months are up, you're ready to come back in and get your pellets again. It can be done. And but it's really life-changing. Now, there are some real benefits to hormone replacement that you should also know about. Of course, we talk about the sex drive going up, you sleep better, you more energy, better memory, that memory fog where you kind of forget what you're doing, where you're going. All of that gets better with hormone replacement. But there are also some real health benefits. You live longer. Your risk for Alzheimer's disease goes down. Your bone density goes up each year that you're on hormone replacement. So there are some real benefits that are both physical and medical. And that's why I love replacing those hormones. And I think we're going to take a break and we're going to come back. And when we do, we're going to talk about the semaglutide diet that everybody's so excited about. We offer it, and I've got all the answers for you. We'll be back in just a minute. Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Winnie King, and I want to invite you to my show, The Dr. Winnie King Show, every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. We're going to talk about everything that's your health and wellness on 1230 KCOH, The Source. This device allows me to take a look at the scalp and see exactly what's going on when it comes to hair follicles. And here you can see the scalp of someone who has already been scoped. And you see plenty of hair follicles, and you also see these little round dots here. See, the hair is growing out of these follicles, and then there are some that don't have hair. That's where we can go to work. We can use our products, whether it's laser, whether it's injecting some of your growth factors to try to help these follicles start growing hair once again. Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Winnie King, and I want to invite you to my show, The Dr. Winnie King Show, every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. We're going to talk about everything that's your health and wellness on 1230 KCOH, The Source.
Wait a minute and talk to me. Girl, I've got
Oh, I tell you, you know what? I don't think he ever made a bad song. Every song is just so good. His voice is just so soothing and sensual. I love it. I love it. I love it. I miss him so very much. You're listening to the Dr. Winnie King Show, and I'm Dr. Winnie King. And if you have a question, the number to call is 713-668-1230. Again, that number is 713-668-1230. And let me give you my office number. We've spoken about a lot of things today. And if you would like to meet with me and talk about this in more detail, the number to call is 936-224-7990. And we've got a caller on the line. Hey, caller, how are you?
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, thank you, and yourself. I just tuned in.
Yes.
And I heard you was talking about Chesterfields. And my hormone level is probably about 930.
Okay.
But I'm still having issues. I cannot sustain.
Okay.
So what would that be?
Okay. Well, that's an excellent question. The first step in working up a male who's having problems with erectile dysfunction is to look at his hormone levels. Your testosterone level is nice and high, 930. That's great. So then we look at other issues. An erection is really requires blood flow, and it requires nerves. And if there's anything that's interfering with blood flow, it's going to interfere with your ability to achieve an erection, even with a normal testosterone level. If you have a problem with your nerves, that's going to interfere with it as well. Do you have a history of hypertension or diabetes?
Both.
Both. Okay. What happens over time is that the blood vessels in our body, especially if we have hypertension, diabetes, and especially if it's not well controlled, is that you will develop blockages in your blood vessels. Now, we all recognize this as when someone has a heart attack or has a stroke. It's the same process, a blockage in the arteries, but that blockage can occur anywhere, including in your genitals. And when that happens, your flow of blood into the penis is going to be severely restricted, and it's going to interfere with your body's ability to achieve an erection. And you may be able to achieve one, but then not maintain one because that blood flow is just not there. So when we've addressed the hormonal component and we know that that's not what's going on and there's still a problem, that's when we start looking at ways to help improve the blood flow. And there are several things that can be done for that. One of them is something called the P shot. And it stands for priapus, but most people think of it as penis shot because that's really what it is. And what we do is we harvest some stem cells from your blood. It's a simple blood tube that we draw, just like getting your blood drawn for anything else. And we put it in a special centrifuge that spins it down, spins it, and it separates out the stem cells and growth factors from the red blood cells. We then take that and put that in a syringe, and that's what we inject into the penis. Now, we do this, the penis is all numbed up. We give you cream, and we let you sit there for a good 30 minutes and let your penis get nice and numb. And we use a little teeny tiny needle to do it. So it's not really a painful procedure. But what that's doing is it's infiltrating the penis with growth factors and stem cells that are designed to really help to make new blood vessels and new nerves to overcome any kind of blockages. Now, the other thing that we can do is something called shockwave therapy. And this sounds horrible, but again, it's not painful at all. It uses a device that's kind of has like a piston type action. And we just run it along the shaft of your penis. And what it's doing is that it's hitting the penis. It's causing the blood vessels in there to release and break up any plaque that's in there so that you can now restore the blood vessels and the blood flow to the blood vessels. It also works well on the nerves. It's creating like an injury so that it can re-heal and heal correctly. Again, not painful. I love to do these together. The P-shot is a procedure that we do. The shockwave is something that we do over time. So we would have you come back, on a regular basis over a period of time to help with that. When we do the P-shot, the last part of that is putting you in something called a penis pump. And this pump creates a negative suction in the pump so that it pulls blood into your penis. So we're trying to train your penis to respond and to get a nice hard erection. So, all is not lost if your hormonal levels are fine, but you're still having a problem. There's still a lot that can be done out there, and we have some really amazing therapies. It doesn't happen overnight, but it will happen with time. And you just have to be consistent and just understand that it's going to make a difference. It's going to change, and you're going to get better. But I know how frustrating it is. That's why I do this in my practice. You know, I mean, I understand just how devastating this is and how frustrating it is for you as well as for your partner. So you owe it to yourself to try all of the modalities. They're going to hurt you at all. The only thing they're going to do is make things better if they do anything at all. Okay.
Now, what about the pump?
Yes.
Now,
Now,
what do you think about that?
Well, okay. The penis pump by itself is not necessarily going to give you the results that you want. Now, there are men that have a penis pump inserted, and that's a different thing that is put internally. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For men where all has failed and they really just have no ability to achieve an erection, then there are some options, and it's the penis pump. And there's two. One is really not a pump per se. It's a device that's put surgically into the penis by a urologist. And it kind of is like a something that you can move up and down. So you can flip your penis up and it is in there, have an erection, you're able to have sex, you're able to have an ejaculation, orgasm, all of that. And then when you're finished, you just push the penis back down. The other one is a pump that actually gets bigger. So it has a device that sits in the scrotum that you literally squeeze. You pump it and it pulls fluid from a little bag that's put in your lower pelvis, and it pulls that fluid into your penis to make the penis get hard. Again, you're able to have sex, you're able to have an orgasm, ejaculate, all of the things that you would ordinarily do. And then when you're finished, you just squeeze that pump in your scrotum and it pulls that fluid out of your penis and goes back into that reservoir. And those are what we call one-way options, in that once you have that done, that's pretty much going to be the way that you will have sex in the future. Nothing wrong with it. A lot of men get it done and they're very happy with it. And so if you've tried everything else and nothing else has worked, then that is an option for you.
Can you do those as well?
No, those are done by a urologist. The procedures that I discussed with you earlier, the P-shot, the shockwave, yes, those I do. But the actual insertion of a penis pump into you, that's done by a urologist.
Okay.
Okay.
I thank you for your time.
Of course. My pleasure. You take care. All right. I think we've got another caller on the line. Hey, caller. How are you?
Hey, Dr. King, quickly. What was the name of those two Netflix items?
Oh, yes. Those two movies, the Game Changers.
The Game Changers, okay.
Right. And What the Health, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're quite welcome. And as we wind down the show today, I want to give you guys some contact information so that you can stay up with me and hear about all the things that we offer. You know, you can always go to my website. That's winniekingmd.com. And that's WINNIEKINGMD.com. WinnieKingMD.com. And then, of course, you can go to the Instagram page at WinnieKingMD and Facebook page, Winnie King MD, Aesthetics and Wellness. There's a lot of places that you can hear about our services and what we do. And we are very happy to help you. We understand that life is hard, and you know sometimes you just need a little help from a friend, and that's what we do. My office number again is 936-224-7990. Now, in the last few minutes that I have on the show, I do want to talk about the semaglutide diet, because this has gotten really, really hot. We've been doing this for a minute now, and people are just so excited. Now we're starting to get people coming in asking for the SG diet. I used to have to tell them, I call it SG, that stands for semaglutide, but that's what it is. Now, semaglutide is the same product that's in Ozempic, which is a diabetes drug. But in much higher doses, you don't have to be a diabetic, but in much higher doses, giving yourself this injection once a week, you can lose up to 20% of your body weight, which is amazing, amazing, amazing. And I have, probably about 30 people on this diet right now, and I don't have a single person who's not losing weight. And I've never had any diet product that's ever done that before, where across the board, everybody is benefiting from it. This semaglutide is available as a prescription drug called Wegovy. However, unfortunately, it's not covered by most insurance, and the out-of-pocket cost is $1,200 to $1,500 a month. And so those of us in the weight loss industry, we get this from a compounding pharmacy generically, and we're able to sell it at a much lower price. And my patients are happy. I've done it myself. CJ, who's not here today, but who's been on the show most of the time, she's done it. She's loving life. I mean, it really does help you to lose weight. And in the weight loss world, this particular drug, and there's going to be more coming down the pike in the future, they're considered game changers. And the results are really in line with what people have been getting having bariatric surgery, whether it's a gastric sleeve, that kind of thing. But this doesn't involve surgery. This is just a once a week injection. You just come to the office, we give you an injection, weigh you, measure your body and see how you're doing, go over your diet, make sure you're eating properly. And that's it. I mean, it's very, very, very effective. And so if you're out there struggling with weight and you're looking for something that's going to help you, this will more than likely do it. It works at your brain and it works in your gut. It really gives you a feeling of fullness so that you just don't really much want to eat. You're going to find that you can't eat nearly as much food as you used to, that you get full sooner, and that you just have less of a desire to eat. That when you slow down and just really you're honest with yourself, because we eat for 1,000 reasons and none of them have to do with hunger. But when you really stop after eating a little bit, you're going to find that you're full. And to do. It's not going to drop your blood sugar, even though you may not be a diabetic and it was originally a diabetic drug. They're finding that people do not have problems with dropping their blood glucose at all. The only contraindication is for people who've had thyroid cancer. If you've had any kind of problem like that. So when they were doing research with it, they found that that was a potential problem. They've never really actually documented that in humans, but they do hold that out as something to be aware of, that we, as doctors, we don't want to prescribe that medication to those folks. So if you are interested in losing weight, and my gosh, who isn't, right? Call the office, learn about the semaglutide diet, and get on my schedule, and let's get you in there. We get a lot of people coming through getting it, and they are losing weight, and they are happy, because there's nothing that tastes as good as thin feels, and when you get that weight off and you start seeing it come off, it just changes everything. You just feel better, you sleep better, you have more energy, more optimism about life. Now, my office number, one more time, is 936-224-7990, and I'm going to send you guys off with some lovely, lovely music from my favorite musician, Teddy P. I want you guys to be careful, be safe, take care of yourselves, don't drive crazy, let them go. Your job is to arrive alive. I love you, God bless you all, and I'll see you next time. Be safe, bye-bye.
My baby. Yeah. Girl, I can't wait to come home to you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Winnie King, and I want to invite you to my show, the Dr. Winnie King Show, every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. We're going to talk about everything that's your health and wellness on 1230 KCOH, The Source.